Eli Cayer, co-founder of Maine Mead Works. Alright, so we're going to give you a little tour here. So basically this is our honey. It's our base right here. We're getting in 5-gallon buckets. It's all wildflower honey from Maine. Honey gets poured into here. Water gets pumped into here. It's about one part honey to 4 parts water. And that's the case for most of what we're making right now. So when you come in here, what you see is our fermentation setup. And this was developed by a scientist out of South Africa. His name was Garth Cambray. He developed it with this actual column. Garth sent us the plans for the scale-up size, and we had these things produced, and then I basically went through and just pulled the whole system together. So what's happening is the must, or the honey in the water, the honey in the juice, is coming in through the bottom of each one of these columns and pushing through the yeast, which lives permanently in the base of the columns, or actually throughout the whole column. As it comes in, the yeast interacts with the sugars and starts to ferment. So you can see the CO2, and what you can't see is the alcohol. There's an equal amount of alcohol being produced for all the CO2 that's happening. And because the alcohol is lighter, plus the displacement from below, it's always sort of drifting up. So you're getting higher and higher alcohol concentration as you get closer to the top. And then ultimately, what it's doing is draining out of the top of each one of these columns continuously. And then from there, it's gravity, and it just drains down the track and drops out of the room. So you can see what's going on is all that fluid and all the gas and everything is coming down, and it's basically draining into tanks, and we're filling tanks. So that's basically our process. All the gas, all the fluid fills. Obviously the gas blows off, the fluid remains. When this tank is full, you can see this one's already full, we'll continue finishing up this last one. And when this one's about halfway, we'll take the contents of the oldest tank and transfer it over to one of these maturation tanks. And this is where all the conditioning happens. So if we're going to make the dry or the semi-sweet, we add oak chips. So this is a bag of American oak, white oak chips that have been toasted to a medium toasted level. We'll add 5 of those to a barrel, pump our mead on top of it. That remaining 20% of the sugars is finished out over the course of about 4 weeks. And at that point, we basically pump it off of this tank into an empty tank through this little plate and frame filter. And basically that's just a bunch of filter pads that are sandwiched together that the mead has to force its way through, which strips out more of the yeast. And so at that point, we have a relatively clear tank of mead. And it's a vacuum system, so there's a little vacuum pump in here, and it's pulling the fluid through tubes from the tank through this filter cartridge and then into another one and then straight into the bottling head, and that pulls out all of the yeast and bacteria. So basically goes straight into the bottle, and then it's bottle, cork, cork. An idea of what they look like when they're filtered. It's a nice clear